Story time. I've got a story for everybody, and I hope that you're a little bit comfy because I want to share it with you, and I think that it's going to mean a lot to at least some of you out there. So I began this path of a professional psychic medium in 2017. Before that, I was just a working guy, didn't go to college, stayed around the area that I grew up, had a lot of different jobs. And back in 2001, when I would have been 20-ish, 19, 20, around 21, 22, around there, I was working on a construction crew at a place called Mountain View Grand. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with where I'm at, I'm in northern New Hampshire and Vermont, and there are some grand hotels here. We're located about 40 minutes away from the Mount Washington Hotel, and that's in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, pretty famous hotel. For many years in the town of Wayfield, New Hampshire, there was a hotel called Mountain View Grand. It sat empty, dilapidated for many years. Construction company, business from Boston area, bought it, wanted to revamp it, and I got a job there doing work. Became a labor foreman, kind of like the boss of a labor crew, helping people demo stuff, move detritus out of the building, bring material into the building, done a lot of different things. One of those things on that job was I became the equipment operator of this machine called a lull, L-U-L-L. You might want to Google it to see what it looks like, but it's a big machine. I want you to think of a forklift, tires probably as tall as me, 6-foot tires, big tires. You get up in it and basically you drive it around, and it's got this big arm that booms off the top of it, and it's got forks on the end of the boom. So you drive this thing around, pick up a pallet, lift it up, you get lifted up to the different windows, you can put it on the back of a truck, that sort of thing. Stay with me here because this is one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. So let me paint the story here. So here I am driving the equipment, and one day I had to pick up a pallet and boom it into the building. Now, the way that this demolition and construction was set up is that there were multiple floors, and this is in the back of the building, multiple floors, and there would have been single windows. Say window here, window here, window here, that would have been taken out. And these were windows that there was a big dumpster at the bottom of. So people would throw trash out into the dumpster, and these were also the windows where material was taken in, like sheetrock, or in this case, sheetrock compound, big 5-gallon buckets of sheetrock compound. So my job was that there were guys up in the building, some women too, got people up in the building. I would take a pallet of sheetrock compound. I'd get on the end of the dumpster and I would boom it up. So pick it up, drive it over, boom it up to the window. Guys up in the building would pull it out. So here I am, dumpster length away from the building. Building's here, dumpster's here, and I'm sitting here, booming up to the window. Okay, so I did that, boomed up to the window. They unloaded it, took it all in, put it on the carts, moving it around where it needs to go. Then I back out, get another pallet, and I go and I boom it up to this window. Now, I'm sitting in the rig like this, and I'm booming up that pallet of sheetrock compound, and I'm watching it. I'm trying to aim for that window. And all of a sudden, I'm watching it, and I see the pallet start to go like this. My first thought was, are my hydraulics giving out? That's not what was happening. What happened is that here I am, here's the building. They were in this window over the dumpster. Not a problem. Well, here I go getting the pallet up to this one, and this is what happened. I'm booming it up, and then all of a sudden, now we're talking physics, all of a sudden, boom! The pallet is so heavy that it, boom, brings that big piece of equipment, hits the building. I am up on my front tires, and the back tires are in the air, and I'm holding onto the steering wheel because now I'm looking down at the ground. And I'm kind of scared. Now, at this point in time, I had a boss. His name was Dennis. He was a Texan. And this Texan, this man, he was in a cowboy hat, cowboy boots, ponytail, one of the greatest guys I've ever met. Calm, cool, collected, very chill dude, very good guy. And yeah, they find out about it, and he runs over. And he's like, don't jump out. That's the first thing he said. Don't jump out of that rig. Stay right in there. He's like, this is what we're going to do. He might have had experience with stuff like this before. He goes, just don't jump out. And I guess in that position, that's one of the worst things you can do, is to jump out of a rig like that, because the rig could fall on you. You're going to stay in it, okay? Stay in it, and goes, this is what's going to happen. He goes, we're going to go down to the other window. Now, I was aiming for this window, but I ended up hitting that window. So everybody up here goes down here, and they start bringing the buckets in the building. And he goes, this is what's going to happen. He goes, there's going to be one bucket. One bucket that does it. They're going to pull that bucket off, and you're going to go boom, like that. And that's what happened. They pulled one bucket off. And then what else happened? Because they had to clear out all of the area. Everybody around had to clear it out. Okay. All of a sudden, that was like a slingshot. That slingshotted those buckets of sheetrock compound up into the air. And then all of a sudden, it was just exploding all around me. It was crazy. And it was pretty traumatic for me. You know, with retrospect, well over 20 years later, it was scary. So, this is what I do. Get out of it. Go find Dennis, because he was working. He just did something else. He knew what was going to happen. He cleared out everybody. You know, business as usual after. Nobody's going to make a big deal out of it. I go find him, and I'm shaking. And I'm like, Dennis, I totally get it. Totally get it if you want to fire me. I'll leave right now. I totally understand. And this is what he said. He's like, I'm not firing you. I need you to get back in that machine and drive it. And I'm like, he goes, no, you don't understand. He goes, when a horse throws you, you get right back on it. And that's always stayed with me for a couple of reasons. One, I've always been a hard worker, and I was a hard worker then, I'm a hard worker now. He saw something in me. He saw that grit or that determination, but more importantly, he understood that I made a mistake. He understood that I made a mistake. He was very forgiving about that. I never did anything like that again. I understood physics in a much better way on that construction site. But he gave me a chance to get back up on the horse, and I think that's wise advice for any of us. Now, we will be thrown figuratively off the horse in a lot of different ways. We'll try relationships, we'll try jobs, we'll try different things that don't work, and life will throw us in a certain degree. But if you get thrown by a relationship, you know, keeping yourself safe and, you know, and in your own way, in your own time, get back on the horse. I think that we're a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And in that process, I think that we have to remember that we should now get back on the horse. So take that for what it's worth. Thank you for being here for story time. I much appreciate it. Don't know why I had to share that story with everybody, but I hope that you found something in it, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Yeah, I'll see you next time.